Looks like the further it goes, the more Jen.
Okay, my clock is 6 o'clock, so I'd like to call this meeting to order.
Roger?
Yes.
Stephanie? Yes. Lisa? Yes. Jennifer? Yes. Sherry? Yes. Sean?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
7 present.
Good to see everybody here this evening. In your board packet is the agenda for this evening. First thing I need is approval and adoption of the agenda, please.
So moved. Second. Motion by Sherry Sheedy, seconded by Lisa Elrod, to approve and adopt the agenda as presented. All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? 7 yes.
Next item on the agenda is board norms, and for November, I'd like to remind the board that we will be involved to our individual level of comfort. Each of us is responsible for airing concerns and or disagreements during the meeting rather than carrying those disagreements outside the board meeting. I would also remind us that we will operate in a courteous and friendly atmosphere, express disagreements with the ideas, not with the individuals. Having that said, I would welcome everybody to the Crawford County School Board meeting for November. Please be sure there's a sign-in sheet over here on my right for anybody that's in attendance that would like to speak during citizens participation. I'd also like everybody to know that this meeting is being recorded. With that being said, if I could ask you all to stand and follow me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The next item on the agenda is board recognition, and I'm going to turn the floor over to Roger Bridgman and Sherry.
All right, the principals, they're going to get these, the principals get these out. Welcome everyone, we're excited and honored to have you with us here this evening. We do have quite a few things that we're going to be honoring this evening, so hang tight with us and we'll get through all of these. But first off, we're going to start out with the first quarter student of the quarter list, and I'm going to ask the principals if each of you would come up and present their certificates to them this evening. We'll start with elementary, I guess. You're up.
Always happy to start the ball rolling.
All right, so
all right. We definitely appreciate everyone showing up here tonight, and definitely appreciate our little ones, of course, swinging by based on not just academics but effort as well as attitude. We are very proud of our elementary kiddos, and especially these 5 tonight. So for my kindergarten student of the quarter, Tucker Harrell. Tucker, your name? Tucker! Hey, hey, brother.
Keep them up there.
Yeah, all of them. Hey, I want you to hold on this just like we did. For first grade, Spencer Dunn. I'll give Tucker yours.
Spencer.
Tucker, I'm going to get you yours too, good man. For second grade, Scarlett Brand. For third grade, Naomi White.
good job.
And for 4th grade, Landry Sanders. All right, one more big round of applause for all of our elementary
You hold that because you gotta get the medal on them too. Thank you, Mr. Cross. Now we'll move to the middle school.
All right, we are equally proud of our students as well. We appreciate their efforts every day to follow our 3 R's and to just go above and beyond what is expected of them. So starting with our 5th grade student, Madeline Verdue. 6th grade, Billy Thompson. 'Guess they're all home doing their homework or something. Hey, Claire Fancher.
Get right here in the front, Claire, so we can get a picture. Okay.
All right, and 8th grade, Jada Sanders.
Let's give one more round of applause for our middle school. Moving on to high school. Again, we're just going to recognize a few kids that have made some outstanding progress either from last year or to this year, and even from the beginning of the quarter to the end of first quarter. So we had some teachers that just wanted to recognize these kids that have made some outstanding progress. So for the freshmen, it was Reese Tackenhorse. For our sophomore student, Summer Strum. For our junior student, James Durbin. And then for our senior, Addison Smith.
Act like you go to school.
Act like they love each other, whether you do or not, right? Good job. All right. Let's give them all one more round of applause. That was good job. Proud of you. All right, we're going to move on to recognize one of our faculty members. This recognition is for Mrs. Karen Timmons, and it comes to us saying, Mrs. Timmons went above and beyond as she always does. At the end of first quarter, as the end of quarter approached, she began digging in to students' grade books and working one-on-one with them to turn in missing assignments. She worked with them to do test retakes and facilitate conversations with their teachers to advocate for themselves. She spent many hours after school putting plans together for these students and helping them improve their grades. Mrs. Timmons genuinely cares about her students' well-being and their achievements. Mrs. Timmons.
Who wants in the picture, both of you?
Oh, Sherry does.
Sherry
Sherry does.
Yeah.
That's how you do that right there.
Yeah, one more.
All right, thank you so much. All right, our next one that we want to recognize this evening is one that is a community individual, but is very active, involved in lots of things, and has her little hands going 24/7 in different things around our community. We'd like to take this time to recognize Mrs. Siebert Wood to recognize Molly Maxwell. The Crawford County R2 School District Board of Education and Athletic Department would like to recognize Molly Maxwell for her dedication to the school district and to our community. Through Chamber of Commerce, Molly organizes an annual golf tournament to benefit the Cuba Athletic Booster Club. This year, the tournament raised $12,000 to be donated to the athletic programs at Cuba High School. This money is used to buy much needed equipment and supplies for all athletic teams. Tyler Munda, president of the Cuba Area Chamber of Commerce, shares that the Chamber is truly honored to have Molly Maxwell as a member of their board of directors. Dedicated, hardworking, and attentive are just a few words that can easily describe her character. Molly is one of the best event planners we have ever had serve on our board. Molly raises tens of thousands of dollars every year for Cuba Athletic Boosters Club and other organizations around our community. She works tirelessly and puts in hundreds of hours to host these successful events, and every single year it proves more successful than we could ever imagine. This annual golf tournament is one of the Chamber's biggest events of the year. Molly has made the planning and success look easy, and for that, we are honored by her commitment. Molly, thank you for your service and dedication to the Crawford County R2 School District and to our community. Good job, sister. Sherry, go right ahead.
You hate doing this. You look like you're enjoying it.
All right, we have one more. I promised you I would keep moving through these, and we're doing that, but we do want to take this time to recognize those individuals and those students and faculty and staff that give and do so much every day into our district and our school. The last one is one of our board members, and I'd like to recognize Lisa Elrod. She's going to receive her certificate and a pin of completion of 18 and a half hours of certified board training, and boy is that fun stuff. That is phenomenal timing. So from MSBA, Lisa Elrod, a member of the Crawford County R2 Board of Education, completed 18 and a half hours of training required by the state law. The Essential New Board Member Training, sponsored by the Missouri School Boards Association, combined online independent study with on-site interactive sessions and was held, they're really, aren't they? Was held in Springfield, Missouri on May 6, 2022. The new board member, doesn't say that Dusty and the board is on time, but the new board member training placed a strong emphasis on improving student achievement by providing guidance to board members of effective school board leadership. Some of the topics addressed include effective board operations, including information on the role of school board in providing oversight of a school district, important school laws, establishing school district policies, fundamentals of school finance, protecting students from sexual misconduct, and the important role that school board plays in establishing school district goals and monitoring progress. So at this time, we would like to recognize Lisa Elrod for her 18 and a half hours, which is plus. Good job.
Yeah, I feel like a community service.
It's definitely community service.
Sure he will. They will.
One more.
Congratulations. That's over.
Thank you.
All right. Again, thank you all very much. Thank you for being here. We do appreciate that. To our kiddos, awesome job. Keep up the great work. To our faculty and staff, the same. We appreciate you more than you know. Education, as you know, has changed dramatically, and we thank you for your time, energy, and efforts in what you do. Also, community members, thank you so much. There's a lot of you here tonight that are involved very heavily in our community, and I thank you from us as the board for all you do for our community and for our school. Can we give everybody else one more round of applause for all the big things you do?
Thank you, Roger. And with that being said, we are going to pause the meeting for just a few minutes. For anybody who would like to exit the room, you're more than welcome to. I'd love to have you off for the entire evening, but yes, free to go if you like, or stick around. We're going to have lots of money anyway. Give me the names.
Yeah, I'll just have to make sure anything's here.
Yeah.
And I might be able to read this.
Sure.
Thanks.
Already?
That one might be, I did have one, but it wasn't that one.
James. Okay. So you need a medallion.
Yeah.
And then this one is two. That's Marie's. That
Get everything out of there, get it all figured out.
Whoa, space, sister.
What do I do now? Oh, it's like, I like to spread
All right. Well, that's all right, the next item on the agenda is citizens' participation, which we have allotted 30 minutes, will be allotted to residents of the school district and staff to give the board an opportunity to listen to citizens. Remarks will be limited to 3 minutes and to one appearance, thus allowing for a maximum number of participants in the allotted time which citizens are speak to issues. Questions directed to the board may not always be answered immediately. I think we have 3 people signed up this evening, and Miss Alex Moore, you were first on the list, so if you'd like to take the floor.
First of all, I just want to say thank you a lot for bringing the valedictorian salutatorian issue back to attention and putting it on the agenda tonight. Hi, I'm Alex Moore and I'm a senior here at CHS, and I am here to speak in favor of reinstating valedictorian and salutatorian. In my opinion, valedictorian and salutatorian is very important to those of us who achieve at the top of our class and have worked tirelessly for years to achieve here. And from my conversation with my peers, those who are not in that top tier are either neutral, in favor of, or indifferent to reinstating it. So it is my opinion that it would be doing us a great service to give that honor back, maybe in combination with the Latin honor system. That's not for me to decide. But I would just like to ask you to reconsider reinstating that because I think it would mean a lot to several people. Thank you.
Next person, Jeannie. There she is.
Let me turn that before you.
Yes, that's who I came to talk to. Hi, my name is Jenny Whitaker, and I wanted to address the board because one of the questions that I had asked during the community involvement
that you provided for the 4-day school week was why a committee was not formed as soon as you started looking into a 4-day school week. Is there a protocol or a procedure that the school board follows when you are making decisions that are involving the students, staff, and in this case, the entire community? The other question that falls in line with this is, why wasn't there discussion by the board at meetings, more than one, where the entire board, president, vice president, and other board members were able to discuss the pros and cons of such a decision? I believe at the beginning of this meeting, you pretty much stated that side conversations were not okay, so bringing that up. I know that you can't respond during community participation, but I believe the community needs to have these things addressed, because if our school board is going to continue to make these types of serious decisions without discussing it with the entire board at more than one meeting, then this is a big concern. And this is why several of us in the community are struggling to have trust and faith in our school board. The other thing that I would like to ask the board is if you would be kind enough to maybe ask your staff to not bring anxiety to students who are not feeling comfortable with the 4-day week. In my experience, my student has a teacher saying things like, if you can't do this now, how are you going to do it in 4 days? And that happened the week after. So that is an issue for me. I feel like it's setting him up to continue to have negative feelings about the 4-day week. And I also feel like it's setting a tone of failure for some students. As you were aware, less than half of the high school students surveyed did not want this. So I don't think it's fair for the staff to constantly be bringing this up of what's going to happen next year. I think it's important to focus on what we are doing with our students now in the classroom 5 days a week and making this year count. Thank you.
Ms. Pat Bell.
Me again. I just wanted to comment on the meeting where you voted for the 4-day. You know, I was really disturbed that all was talked about was the teachers that were for the 4-day. The teachers that were against it were never mentioned. You kept going on and you named names, and that was good, that were for it, but I feel like you need to take care of all the teachers, not just the ones that are for it. And that was it.
Is there any other citizens' participation this evening?
My name is Pitzel Singh. I try to be as involved as I can where I live at all times in the school boards or in the activities that affect my kids as well as my grandkids. Now, let's talk about the last couple of school board meetings that we had. We actually had 3 school boards in the month of November. The meeting that we had where we discussed a question and answer session was a school board meeting. The only difference was you didn't call it a school board meeting. You lined up behind the table, you set standards, and then you did a question and answer and a response time to each one of the people that responded to you in the audience. The only difference between that and another school board meeting is that we did the Pledge of Allegiance and we did the roll call and everything else that took place in the school board meeting. Now let's talk about last week. You stated something, Mr. President, if I could have your attention, you stated something a few minutes ago about the board norms. What are the board norms? Board norms are that you control the processes. At that meeting that you had, that school board meeting you had in the question and answer, you did not control the process. Mr. Siebert did. That was a school board meeting. You should have been controlling that, not him. Okay. Now, last week, you controlled the process. You did not speak a single time during that meeting. If you look back at the meeting where everybody did have the question and answer session, your only comment during that whole session, I think, was, thank goodness I'm not running this. So, I'm not trying to be negative to you, but if a board norm is a board norm, it's a board norm. You stated that there's no offline talking, there's no side conversations and everything. The last board meeting, there was no interaction between the community and the board, but there were tons of interactions with the board members and the community. In fact, somebody took 10 minutes of their time to lambaste the community for being emotional or speaking out against the 4-day work week. You smile, it's the truth. There's a lot of people in here that will not respond to you because they feel intimidated, but they will call us, they will call a few of us that will speak out and say that was inappropriate. You all took the time, 4 of you took the time to sit behind your desk and justify the answers that you were doing. That's not what we were here for. In fact, somebody changed the time to the normal school board meeting to 5 o'clock instead of 6. You took credit for that. Somebody decided that we did not allow our 30 minutes, our 3-minute time to interact with you at a normal school board meeting. Whether you call it special counsel or whether you don't, it's still a school board meeting. We should have had the opportunity to respond or to talk to you at first. Excuse me?
10 seconds.
Okay. With that in mind, we have a conflict of interest in the school board. When you elected the assistant superintendent, the superintendent was not allowed.
Thank you.
Okay. I would like for you to resign your position. Under conflict of interest.
All right. Next item on our agenda this evening is consent agenda items. In your board packet is the information for the consent agenda items. Does anybody have any questions, any concerns? Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you.
Motion by Sean Siebert, seconded by Jennifer Moreland to approve the consent agenda as presented. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? 7 yes.
Next item on the agenda is financial statement and action on the November bills. Does anybody have any questions about the bills that are in your packet? Do I have a motion to pay the bills this month?
So moved.
Motion by Roger Bridgman, seconded by Tiffany Dickens to approve the financial statement and action on the bills as presented. All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? 7 yes.
We are going to move into the administrative reports. The first item is board and committee reports. Do you have anything, Sherry?
I was in Kansas City a couple of weeks ago and attended the MSBA annual conference. And unfortunately, I didn't get to go to as many of the sessions that I wanted to because I was scanning. And the presenters asked that we stay 10 or 15 minutes into the session, so it was kind of hard to go anywhere. But there were a couple of good sessions. I gave some information to Dr. Davidson about, I don't know how well it will fit our school because we're a lot smaller than Springfield, but and if it would even work. And another thing that I talked to Dr. Davidson about, and I also spoke to Ms. Moore about, one of the schools presented us at one of the conferences sessions. Their marching band was there, and I'm sitting here thinking, I think maybe our marching band would be good to be up to one of these. And also the way it was set up, I think maybe even the drill team could come. So I talked to Dr. Davidson, and I need to speak to MSBA, and I would like to ask him if it was okay, and I would like to submit them. I'm not saying next year, but maybe sometime down the road. And as from what I can see from the things that went on, they will probably be having this in Kansas City for quite some time. So, and I know it's farther than what we've gone to in the past, but it was a pretty good conference. They have a lot of room, a lot more area that we can go into beside when we were down the lake. So
have some information here if anybody wants to see it. I also went to the delegate session, and of course we voted on a few things, so if anybody wants to see that information, I have it also.
Did they set dates for next year?
Yes, would you like to know the dates?
I would.
Hold on a minute. It's gonna be in November again. It is, oops, I might have lied. You know what, I thought I put them in my phone, but I didn't. I'll have to get back to you. I'll get that information to you guys on the dates, because I don't know if I've got it in here or not. Sorry about that.
As Ms. Shute and I spoke about our band potentially performing, sometimes those are booked years in advance, so it might take a while, but definitely I think it'd be an honor for our marching band to go and showcase what they do. They sound great when it comes to the state competition.
Was there any other board or committee reports? Then we will move into building principal reports. In your packets are those reports from each of the 3 buildings. Do we have any additions for the elementary school?
Just one that's popped up in the past week or so. There are some 7th grade students in Ms. Baughman's class that have been reaching out as far as taking some leadership opportunities, whether it's a basketball camp for some of my littles or a readathon, kind of taking the point on that. They come in, they give a presentation, we talk about, you know, what I would need to give out, and that stuff's going to go home tomorrow for a couple of things that they're doing, but just 7 or 8 kiddos that were former elementary students that are kind of giving back, so very neat to middle school and Ms. Baughman for giving them the opportunity and to kind of work with some of my old littles as well, so appreciate that for that.
Awesome.
Does anybody have any questions about the information in the elementary? And we will move into the middle school. Do you have any additions or corrections or anything?
I have a correction. The choir concert in the past few years, we've done a combined middle school, high school, so I just assumed that's what we were doing this year, but found out differently. So it's just going to be middle school. It's still the 19th of December at 6 o'clock, but we're going to try that in the cafeteria to see if we can get better sound and better acoustics. So we're going to try it in there and see how it works.
Kudos to the middle school social media. You guys have a very active page, particularly on Facebook, and it's posting some really neat stuff. So kids are doing really things.
Does anybody have any other questions about the middle school information? And I will slide right into the high school. Do you have any additions, corrections, or anything?
I believe the only change I would make is I think we're up to 6 graduates through the Missouri Options Program now. So November has been an exciting month and getting a lot of kids tested out and moving on with life. So we're really excited about it. They've done some great things.
It's great. No, that's what I was going to comment. I love the pictures that you're posting, and they're awesome.
Celebrating them as much as they, and they get to come back and walk and do all of the senior activities in May if they want to and choose to. So hopefully they'll come back and come and visit us one more time.
That's awesome. It's awesome.
And 6 may not sound like a lot, but that's what we're here for, and there's 6 more kids that have their diploma and can do stuff moving forward. So yeah, there's a lot of effort goes into those smaller years of students, but why we're here.
That's awesome. Yeah. Also in your board packet is the Special Education Director's Report. Do you have any updates, changes? Does any of my board have any questions about the information that was presented? With that being said, we're going to jump right into the student representative, the board report.
So the girls and boys basketball team hosted their 2nd annual Black and Gold game last Friday, and it went very well. There was a lot of people that showed up. The boys kick off their season tomorrow night versus Houston at home, and the girls travel to Cedar Hill. Our speech and debate team held a competition on the 12th, and they got 3rd overall. The drama club is getting ready for their Christmas play, and the band and drill team are preparing for the Christmas parade, which will be on the 3rd. The volleyball team had 3 girls that were named all-conference, and for the softball team, Hallie McMillan and Tyra Hafer were named all-conference and then 2nd team all-district.
Thank you. And did anybody? Anybody have any questions? That my computer's trying to log off, so we may have to talk later on. But for right now, does anybody have any questions about the student representative report? Then I will move into the assistant superintendent report.
Sure. I have two things to add to my report. The first one is a little bit of frustrating news. Desi announced last week that they have pushed back the release of our official APR scores again. So that the soonest release will be late February, early March. They are moving ahead with releasing preliminary unofficial APR results in December. So I will go ahead with the presentation in January. However, that's under the understanding that those results are unofficial, preliminary. The official ones will not be out until March. So that's a little bit frustrating, especially when our administrators and our teachers are looking for that information to prepare for spring testing, and we're not going to be getting that until spring testing. However, we do have other measures in place, including Evaluate for ELA and math. And that was the other thing that I wanted to add. For the month of November, we saw growth in every single grade level in mathematics and English language arts. For mathematics, we had double-digit growth in grades 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8. And that's really outstanding job to our teachers. We know that you guys are putting in a lot of time and effort. We've been modifying those pacing guides and curriculum the last few years. And the kids are putting in a lot of hard work on those Evaluate tests. So I wanted to mention that and the good job that they're doing.
That is awesome. Were there any questions about any information in the assistant superintendent report? Then we are going to slide right into the superintendent's report.
Just two things to add. Had submitted all of our documentation for our ESSER 1 audit, and since then it has been approved, so that's pretty exciting. Working with Desi, they contracted with an outside agency to oversee that money, and that was COVID relief money, essentially. And we still have ESSER 2 funds will run through this year, and then ESSER 3 next year. So we have 2 more audits, but should go well. Everything's in line there and on track. The other is the John T. Belcher Scholarship. So we have a timeline. The high school counseling department spoke to all those seniors, and they have a deadline of December 1st, and then the board, I'll send those to the board members to select however you want to choose that individual, and then that is due January 9th. You need to submit 1 application there. So again, timeline, seniors have until December 1st, and then I'll get those from the counseling department sent to the board, and then the board will need to select. And we could probably do that at the December board meeting, announce that person for the selection, and then we have to just get it submitted by January 9th. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out on that. All right, then. Write all that info down.
That's what she was just thinking. I gotta write that down. I'm like, yeah, that's scholarship. You're fine.
Several students who are probably eligible for that, so it'll be probably a tough selection on that.
Did anybody have any other questions? Then I am going to move right into other unfinished business. 2022-2023 budget update and amendments.
Yep. So with that, our reserves are healthy. They're at 37.5%. The amendments, looking at only doing an amendment in November, so that's why it looks like a large list of amendments, but we did not have our title funds approved yet through DESI, and that's where the majority of these come from. And then the others are just fine-tuning the accounts throughout the year to make sure they stay balanced. We'll probably do another amendment in March, and then in June we'll do approval to close out the budget and then adopt the new budget. So trying to just narrow that down to three months a year versus every month. So that was per some of our auditors' recommendation, just to keep that as clean as possible there. Another thing, I met with our financial planner Friday just to talk about, we've got a Prop C on our books still. There was a partial waiver back in 1994, so we still have that on our books, and that rolls back some of our tax rate. and just talk about our tax rate and no tax increase bond. With that though, I'd like to wait until next semester to do some strategic planning and then kind of look at our goals, what we want to do in the next 3 to 5 years to accomplish, and then work with some committees and then a community committee to see where we're at and our needs and what we want to do. So just kind of sharing that right now. I've got the information, but right now we need to kind of keep some focus on some other things to move forward.
Does anybody have any questions, or do I hear a motion to approve the budget amendments as presented?
Motion.
Second. Motion by Sean Siebert, seconded by Lisa Elrod to approve the budget amendments as presented. All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? 7 yes.
Next item is the 10-passenger van or vehicle conversation.
Yep. So we had no bids submitted for that, and again, just there's low inventory out there. So typically, dealerships are trying to run deals at the end of the year to close out. I'm not really seeing that because I think there's just low inventory. So just kind of putting it to the board. Would you like me to go shopping, or someone go shopping, bring back some options, or do we want to just kind of let this sit for a bit or wait? I've kind of been told 6 to 12 months out for some of these. So. Like I said, if somebody wants to shop, I'm open. So. But to me, that could be a certified pre-owned, or it could be a new, or it could be, you know, you could look at different SUVs or something of larger capacity. So if we want to just sit for now too, that's fine as well.
I don't think it's a bad idea to at least look.
Yeah.
And, you know, you might maybe talk to some of the schools, example Herman, you know, they I think it was 2 SUVs that they had purchasing.
So they found some private owners of vehicles.
Both of them were private, weren't they?
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, that's always a possibility, but I don't think it hurts to look. Never
Yeah.
hurts to look to see what.
And with that, we have time. I mean, we can bring stuff back or look at it, or somebody finds something they want to present and say here or nay on it. But some of the pre-owned stuff's looking at 45 to 55,000 with about 100,000 miles, and then new, I don't know, for 60, 70, 80,000. Used to be what a bus was. Anyway, okay, well, we can kind of shop around a little bit.
Next item, we're going to move into some new business. MSBA is recommending that we select a date now for our reorganization meeting. That will occur in April, so that all potential candidates would know when the meeting would be. April, so that would be a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Later.
Sure. Certified election. 13. Okay, good with that.
13th. And
It's
what
not Friday.
time would you like to have that?
We usually do that 5.
I believe we
We
do.
usually do the reorganization with a 5.
Is that like fine for good?
I think I'm good with it.
I'll make a motion that we do the reorganization meeting on April the 13th, on Thursday, April the 13th, at 5 p.m.
Motion by Roger Bridgman, seconded by Sean Siebert, to set the board reorganization meeting for Thursday, April 13th, 2023, at 5 p.m. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? 7 yes.